This story is something right out of a crime thriller, but this one is painfully real. Picture it. A respected criminal defense attorney, Keegan Harroz, smart, driven, successful. She's made a name for herself in Oklahoma, representing tough cases and earning respect in the courtroom. Sounds like she's got it all, right? So let's set the stage. Keegan Harroz was a rising star in law. A Texas native, she made a name for herself in Oklahoma after opening her own law firm in 2014. By all accounts, she had potential. In the fall of 2018, Keegan began representing Barry Titus, a former crane operator, on drug and firearm charges. Soon after, she also took on his domestic assault case. Titus had a restraining order against him from an ex-girlfriend, Tiffany Icor, who accused him of assaulting her. Then came a twist. Keegan didn't just defend Titus, she started dating him. Now, her colleagues and friends noticed disturbing changes in her. She was reportedly consumed by her new relationship, with some saying she'd become unrecognizable. Lisa Weismiller, a former client, even described a strange incident where she'd gone to prepare for a case, only to be ignored while Keegan focused solely on Titus. Fast forward to 2019, and suddenly there's an arrest. Lisa was shocked to see a photo of her attorney in handcuffs. Imagine discovering that your lawyer is being led away in connection with something this dark. And that brings us to the tragic events of September 2019. The bodies of Tiffany Icor, 43, her father Jack Chandler, 65, and her mother Evelyn Chandler, 69, were discovered in their Beggs, Oklahoma home. Surveillance footage later revealed a vehicle, identified as Keegan's, arriving at the scene. Two figures exit the car, one tall, presumably Titus, and a shorter individual.
The murder mystery in Okmulgee County could be coming down to a footprint. On this day, we now know investigators went back inside Harroz's home to get a pair of boots. Officers believe they could match a footprint from the murder scene.
Likely Harroz. They approached the home, cut the power, and entered the residence. Moments later, the family was unalived. Investigators uncovered chilling evidence against Keegan and Titus. They found a ball cap with Titus's DNA near the crime scene, and shell casings from an AR-15 that matched a rifle Keegan had reportedly bought. A witness claimed to have seen them testing that very weapon shortly before the murders. And in a bizarre twist, the witness had initially sold the rifle to them. Prosecutors alleged that the motive was revenge, believing that the murders were intended to silence Icor, who was set to testify against Titus for the domestic abuse charges, and it didn't stop there. Keegan had, according to a former client, orchestrated a scheme earlier in the year to plant a bag outside Icor's home, hoping to frame her and her family for drug possession. When it became clear that Icor wasn't going to back down, the plan turned deadly. In a particularly dark detail, the murder of Evelyn Chandler was described as especially cruel. The documents allege that she hid in a closet as her husband was shot, and in her final moments, she heard the intruders coming closer. Harroz and Titus have both been charged with first-degree murder, burglary, and more, and both are currently in federal custody.
What's inside Keegan Harroz's home? Surveillance video shows multiple officers waiting to search around again Tuesday. Neighbors tell us Harroz's housekeeper let them inside, and they stayed for hours.
There was another car parked on the street that had two girls in it. I did hear the one officer kind of poke his head in the car and tell him that they were looking for new evidence.
New evidence in the murder mystery still haunting the small community just north of Beggs, where Jack and Evelyn Chandler, along with their daughter Tiffany Icor, were shot and killed in their home.
The state is seeking the death penalty, asserting that the killings were deliberate and driven by personal vendettas. It's a tragic story, a promising career now in tatters, and families left devastated. Keegan Harroz and Barry Titus, two people whose lives collided in a toxic mix of professional and personal turmoil, now stand accused of a brutal crime that has shocked a community. The Oklahoma courts will ultimately decide their fate, but the path leading here is one riddled with alarming choices and unspeakable consequences.